There's something strange about so many adults. Out in the world, we get tired of reading the room, smiling, when we are not really okay, saying yes, when we want to say no, saying it's fine, when something inside us is clearly not fine. A lot of us learned that very early. We learned how to please, how to stay quiet, how to become easy to love, easy to accept, easy to handle, and then we become parents, and we say we want to raise a child who is independent, confident, strong-minded, a child who can speak up, a child who can express their feelings, a child who can grow up as their own person. But then what happens when our child actually does that? When they say no, when they push back, when they don't cooperate right away, when they have big feelings, when they do not do what we want just because we want peace in that moment. Sometimes, what we think we want is an independent child, but what we really want is a child who listens fast enough to calm our own nervous system, and that is the tension so many parents live in, without even realizing it. We want our children to be strong, but we feel unsettled when they do not go along with us. We want them to have a voice, but we struggle when that voice creates discomfort in us. We want them to be independent, but deep down, we still reward obedience more than honesty. And that is exactly why attachment matters, because so much of how we respond to our children does not only come from our child's behavior, it also comes from our own history, how we were held, how our emotions were received or dismissed, how we learned what love felt like. So in this video, I want to talk about attachment, because when we understand attachment, we do not just understand our children better, we start to understand ourselves better too. And if you enjoy this kind of content that helps you better understand your child, understand yourself more honestly, and turn psychology into practical parenting, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Now, let's get into the heart of it. Attachment theory was first developed by John Bowlby and later expanded by Mary Ainsworth. At its core, attachment theory explains how a child forms an emotional bond with their primary caregiver and how that bond shapes the child's sense of safety, their emotional regulation, their relationships, and even the way they see themselves. In simple words, a child does not only need care, a child needs emotional safety, not just food, not just sleep, not just clean clothes and routines, but this deeper feeling. When I'm scared, is someone there? When I'm sad, will someone help me with that feeling? When I come back for comfort, will I be met with calm or irritation? Over time, those repeated experiences build something very deep inside a child, a quiet map, a map of what relationships feel like, a map of whether the world feels safe, a map of whether they themselves are worthy of love and support. If a child repeatedly experiences warmth, responsiveness, and emotional steadiness, they begin to learn. The world is not such a scary place. My feelings are not too much. People can be trusted. And when I need help, I do not have to face everything alone. That is the foundation of secure attachment. But to understand attachment with our children, sometimes we have to look back before we look forward. Because many of our reactions as parents do not come only from parenting knowledge. They come from our nervous system, from old emotional memories, from what we had to learn to survive. When we were young, if your feelings were often brushed aside, as a child, your child's crying may feel unusually hard for you to sit with. If you grew up with inconsistency, you may be especially sensitive. When your child pulls away, ignores you, or rejects you, if you had to become independent too early, you may find yourself wanting your child to be strong, to stop clinging, or to handle it on their own. Not because you do not love them, but because you may not have been emotionally held in the way you needed. And that brings us to the 4 attachment styles. The first is secure attachment. This usually develops when a child grows up with care that is reasonably consistent, emotionally responsive, and safe enough. Not perfect, just steady enough. Adults with secure attachment. They're usually more comfortable with closeness. They can trust more easily. They can express their feelings more honestly. And they are often better able to connect with others in a healthy way. The second is anxious attachment. This often develops when care is inconsistent. Sometimes the child is comforted. Sometimes they are ignored. Sometimes love feels close. Sometimes it feels uncertain. So the child learns, I have to try harder. I have to be extra aware. I have to keep people close, or I might lose them. As adults, these people may fear rejection deeply. They may overthink relationships. They may become people pleasers. And underneath it all, they often carry the feeling that they are still not quite enough. The third is avoidant attachment. This often forms when a child's physical needs are met, but their emotional needs are not really welcomed. They may be fed, bathed, cared for on the surface, but their sadness, fear, or vulnerability does not receive much space. So they learn, don't need too much, don't depend too much, handle it yourself. As adults, they may seem very independent, very strong, very self-contained. But sometimes that independence is not peace. Sometimes it is protection. They may struggle to open up, struggle to receive comfort, and feel safer, keeping emotional distance. The fourth is disorganized attachment. This often develops when childhood includes chaos, fear, trauma, or when the caregiver is both a source of comfort and a source of fear. These adults often feel deeply conflicted in relationships. They want closeness, but they also fear it. They may move toward people and then suddenly pull away. They may seem warm one moment and shut down the next. And understanding these attachment styles, it's not about labeling yourself. It is about understanding your patterns with more honesty and more compassion. Now, how do you know if secure attachment is developing between you and your child? There are a few important signs. The first is this: your child seeks closeness with you. A securely attached child wants to be near the person who feels safe. That might look like your toddler is following you into the kitchen. Your child is running to hug you when you come home, or simply wanting to sit near you on the couch. That is not always clinginess. Very often, that is attachment. The second sign is this: your child comes to you when they are distressed. This is what attachment theory calls a haven. Your child falls and runs to you. They feel overwhelmed and look for you. They get scared in a new environment and turn back to find your face. That is not a weakness. That is a healthy nervous system looking for co-regulation. The third sign: your child feels free to explore when they know you are there. This is called a secure base. A securely attached child does not just cling, they move out and come back. They explore and return. They try and reconnect. That is important because secure attachment does not create unhealthy dependence. It creates the foundation for healthy independence. Real independence does not come from being pushed away too early. It grows from feeling safe enough first. And the fourth sign is this: your child can be comforted. After separation, a securely attached child may still cry. When you leave, that is normal. But when you return, they are usually able to settle, reconnect, and gradually return to play. If a child becomes extremely distressed and stays overwhelmed, even after reunion, that may reflect anxious insecurity. If they seem unusually indifferent when a parent leaves or comes back, that may reflect avoidant patterns. And if their reactions are very confused, fearful, or disorganized, that is something worth paying closer attention to. So what affects secure attachment? The most? Many things matter. But one of the biggest factors is this: the emotional stability of the parent. Not perfection, not never getting triggered, not raising your voice, but the ability to notice your own activation, slow down, come back, and repair. When a child's emotions are constantly dismissed with things like, "You're fine," "Stop crying," "It's not a big deal," "You're overreacting," the child does not just feel misunderstood. Their nervous system starts learning that their inner world, it is not safe to bring it to you. And when parents are overly anxious, overly controlling, or too fearful to let the child try, fail, and explore, that can create insecurity too. Because children do not need parents who are harsh, and they do not need parents who are overprotective. They need parents who are warm and steady, parents who can welcome feelings without collapsing into them, parents who can hold boundaries without losing connection. That is where secure attachment grows. And maybe the most healing part of all this is this: you do not need a perfect childhood to raise a securely attached child. You just need to become more aware, more honest about what gets activated in you, more willing to slow down, more willing to become a safer place for your child to return to. And if you made it to the end of this video, I just want to say something to you very sincerely. You are someone who loves your child deeply, because when a parent is willing to sit with a message like this, to reflect, to learn, to look inward, that says something beautiful. It says, you do not just want your child to behave. You want to understand them. You want to connect with them. And you want to love them in a healthier, deeper way. That matters. You do not need to be perfect. You just need to stay willing to learn, willing to notice, willing to grow. And that already means so much. If this video spoke to you, please like the video so I know you want more content like this, and subscribe to the channel so we can keep walking this parenting journey together with more understanding, more calm, and a more real connection.